All right, welcome back to bright sunny Wankdorf in Bern, where we are now getting ready for the 2019 Open Division Championships for Swiss Ultimate.
In
Fob from
Switzerland.
Bern versus Freespeed Basel. Let me check the annals real quickly. This is approximately the 1 gazillionth consecutive meeting of these two teams in the finals.
Yeah.
These two teams are absolutely the class of the men's division in Switzerland. They know each other minutely down to the very details. They constantly find themselves in this game against one another. Last year, Freespeed won this championship on Universe Point, and so Fob has to have that in the backs of their minds.
Oh,
Important
and
one.
what you can see that this Freespeed will bring a much higher number of
Hmm.
players to the game. You can see they're still
Hmm.
lining up. If you compare them side to side,
Yes.
you can see the number of players for Freespeed is much higher.
Speaking as a former opponent of Freespeed, I don't know that there is a more terrifying team to play. They play a very aggressive, very high flying, very high energy brand of Ultimate. And so, as an opponent of Freespeed, you are never safe. If you have a lead, no lead is too great for them to come back from. They are phenomenal at not caring about what the score is and just playing every point as though it's the only point that exists.
Mm.
They do a wonderful job of recruiting and developing young players.
Mm.
Meanwhile, the Flying Angels of Bern are a long-time mainstay, little roster turnover from year to year,
Yes.
uh, which allows them to build a tremendous amount of consistency. There's been a Generationswechsel going on in Bern for a decade, probably, in which very slowly older players fade out of the scene and are replaced in their role by younger players before they actually retire. But I would suggest that the average age on FOB is significantly higher than the
Yeah,
average age
definitely.
on Freespeed, although Freespeed is boasting a couple of silverbacks of their own
Yes.
in
Yeah, they're
Jan
back
and
from
Dave Moser.
retirement
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
of
heard
course.
that some of their players officially kind of retired.
Hmm.
They had a, which they called, I think, free speed experience, but
Hmm.
somehow maybe they've gotten again the little bug of
Hmm.
competitiveness, so they're back in
That's
here.
wonderful.
Yeah. Mm.
Freespeed and Fob love to compare themselves to one another in many respects, but Freespeed is definitely winning the man bun competition this year. It appears
It might
only
be
one.
linked to
Dave is the only one
the
on.
age difference.
It might relate to the age difference, but not exclusively.
Yes, because they like Fab is also supporting a few ones,
Oh,
so.
absolutely, absolutely. They don't want to get left behind in terms of the style competition. If I had to guess, I'd say that given who is on the line for the Flying Angels of Bern, notably Lorenz Stauffer, that
They will start on
Bern is starting
offense.
on offense. Now, one of the interesting things about this game strategically, here is my read on how
Hmm.
this game is going to go. So, the Flying Angels have changed their offense this year, going to horizontal offense in which most of their dominant and squirrely throwers are actually downfield.
Okay.
Uh, they're trying to set up a numeric mismatch. They're basically trying to play 4-on-4 downfield, move the disc into those cutter positions, and then run. Free Speed is going to run the same sort of like high flying, look
Yes.
deep, aggressive throwing kind of thing. But what Free Speed does in order to stop this Flying Angels offense is going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to watching the adjustments that both teams make. Luca Miglioretto chucks the opening pull. It's high and hanging. The crowd is very excited to see this. Benji receives up to Launa Stouffer in the middle of the field, dishing it back to Nino, who's looking for Sebastian Glur, known as Kiwi. A drop
Chris
from
Windler.
Chris Windler gives Basel the disc 15 meters out of the end zone on the forehand side.
We got
Luca
Luca on the disc.
Miglioretto picks it up. Free Speed on the move, moving it back and forth across the field.
Benjamin to Oliver Gogler.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Luca.
Free Speed just playing nice, controlled handler offense, taking the throws that Fab is giving them, moving steadily backwards but maintaining possession, looking for their chance. Ali with a nice cut to the sideline, but it doesn't work out. Seva Reese picks up the disc and puts it in motion to Chris, to Yosh. A slip from Chris leads to another Fab turnover. Basel takes its second opportunity to get a break. Luca slowing it down, walking to the disc.
Calling a timeout. And we're already starting with a timeout.
Interesting. With 4 timeouts per game, there isn't a huge penalty for calling a timeout right away. And
I think this is important. Like if you can start off with a break.
There just aren't that many breaks in. There aren't going to be that many breaks when these teams play each other. And so every break counts. And so when they're on their second opportunity to get a break, it makes a lot of sense to slow it down and capitalize. The dynamic that's important to think about here is winning the timeout, which, like, when you call a timeout, you have to make good use of it. There's nothing more demoralizing than calling a timeout and then getting scored on.
But it seems that this is something we saw in the game before.
Certainly.
There seems to be like the timeout curse.
It can be, for sure.
It's really the danger, like, because every team comes out rested out of a timeout. So high pressure, and often you plan one strategy and you want to execute it, and you get kind of the, I don't know, the fast lane look. So
this is going to be interesting. If I'm playing for the Flying Angels, one of the things that we didn't see a lot in the West and Fab game, one of the interesting things about timeouts in general is that the offense has to set first, as we said a lot last game. The offense will come out, they have 30 seconds to set up, and then the defense sets up. So the offense has to set up before they know what the defense is doing. It wouldn't surprise me terribly for Fab to come out in something a little bit zony. Freespeed is picking up the disc on their own half of the field. Just something for 3 throws would basically disrupt whatever it is that Freespeed has planned enough to get them out of it. But that might be a little bit too much gamesmanship for this early in the competition. Freespeed has set themselves up in a horizontal stack. And now Fab is moving to match up. Playing person offense. Disc is coming in. Good motion from Freespeed Basel downfield. Open springs a player. Nice catch made on the backhand sideline.
That was Oliver.
And a quick turnover thrown to Kiwi. Jan and Kiwi throwing the disc back and forth. Fab just trying to move the disc quickly. Lauren Stauffer doing the thing that only he can do and throwing, only thing that he, yes, exactly.
Catching the disc, so it's a first point and a hold for Fab.
The most exciting first point hold one could hope for.
Already shows it's on.
Exactly. Seeing 2 teams of this skill level come out and each turn the disc over twice on the first point sets the tone for the game. And this game is going to seesaw back and forth. Teams are going to look comfortable, and then the other team is going to make them look not comfortable.
Might be a few runs on one side and then on the other.
But the mission for both of these teams has got to be to get themselves calm, especially on offense. Had little miscues caused by being just a little bit out of sync with each other and trying to move a little bit too fast on both sides of the disc. The team that calms down first will win the first game to 3, which I know both teams are thinking about very hard. Basel ready to receive the pull.
Also, they set their first O-line of the game.
As Bern pulls Dave, leading the charge all the way down. Nice high hanging pull, comes down in the center of the end zone.
With the disc in the start.
Toby Berenson moving the disc back and forth, looking for their options again, seeing what Fab is doing on defense.
Circling a lot in front. We get Dave Moser with the disc. David.
Nice safe possession, and now we get Basel stretching the field with some deep cuts, which pushes the Fab defense off of the line and just churning underneath and going deep. Now, again, the terrifying thing about playing a team like Freespeed is any one of these deep cuts can turn into a goal in a second. These throwers are fearless. and love to move the disc. And there's the deep shot from Toby, looking for Dave Moser deep. It is a dime. Torre drops off to try to help.
Shot. Great timing there.
Little you could do on defense about that once that throw was in the air.
Yeah.
Fob had the help that they needed. Just a super accurate throw. I'm looking forward to seeing that again on the replay.
On the replay.
To a goal in a second. Okay, so let's see this get set up. Just the handlers just working a little two-man set. Toby just draws the mark off and then just cranks that inside-out backhand. Just a beautiful throw, giving the defense no chance.
Yes, and you could really see that David, he was ready for the pass to go. He saw, okay, disc is going to Simon, and then he was just taken off, knowing that that pass was bound to come. Really nice.
Very nice. Freespeed showing how to score in one possession. And Fob back on offense, running out a very similar offensive line. Mark Mosiman on the line, having just played defense. These teams are just feeling each other out. Pull goes up. Mosiman is back in the end zone with Pascal to receive it. Nino, I have trouble saying. Benji has the disc. Back to Nino. Nino looking up the backhand sideline. There is a pick call.
And they're still in their end zone. There's
like
a few passes, and they still haven't managed to get out of their own end zone. That's a tight defense from Freespeed there.
That all starts with pull coverage, at which, again, Freespeed is really quite good. Big high-hanging pulls, and the defense is just on you. Mo cranks a backhand for Seba, who's chasing it down just a little bit long. And now Basel gets a break chance, but from their own end zone. 70 meters to go for Basel. Content to walk to the disc and set things up. Basel also running a horizontal stack.
Flying Angels. I really like to play horizontal stack. Always the thing gives you so much space.
Exactly.
To run to.
Freespeed clears the strong side line and brings in another cutter to move the disc. Cranking the shot on the D line. Another beautiful put. Not quite into the end zone. Freespeed with the disc, 1 meter out. A little lefty. Past a lane now to Mark Mosiman for the goal and the spike.
That again was a really nice deep shot, followed by just an easy score. And that's a break for Freespeed.
Yep, and we can hear Freespeed singing their break song, which is, again, one of the best parts of that team, I think. So the Flying Angels from Bern have yet to play a clean point of offense, and Freespeed is the first team to clean things up and score on the first possession on the break. Freespeed up 1 break to nothing, 2-1 in the first game to 3. Pub trots out a very similar offense line, a couple of substitutions here and there. Massive pull from Basel. Freespeed charging down on the pole to cover it. Pole lands in bounds, centered to Laurent Stauffer, standing in his own end zone. Moves it up to Sebastian Glur, to Oswin Metzger, back to Sebi Glur. The disc is bouncing around now a little bit more for the Flying Angels, which is the game that they want to play. Chris Findler with the disc.
On the line.
Could play it.
Jan Tenger.
Right up the line. Freespeed looking to poach that a little bit, which is a smart adjustment. Kiwi on the backhand sideline. Disc working its way around. Laurent Stauffer fires an inside into a very tight window.
Jakob Ibinger. He was really
great D for Basel. Basel again having their chance for a second consecutive break.
You got Gilles, the disc.
Around to Luca Miglioretto.
Got Nikolai.
Ooh. Fab comes off the handler and very nearly gets the block. Basel untroubled by these marks. Taking advantage of the open space that the Flying Angels are giving them.
There's
a foul called on
the
mark.
Looked very wobbly when it started. So
Lawrence Stauffer marking very tight, and as a result, unintentionally, causes the foul. No contest.
Yes.
Disc comes in on 0. Disc moves up the backhand sideline, put into the end zone.
Oh, it's a layout catch there.
Another break for Freespeed, 2 consecutively, 3-1. Freespeed leads the Flying Angels of Bern.
Great layout catch from Oliver Gaugler.
0-0 again. The first game to 3 has now come to an end.
Can have a look at the replay.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay. Especially because with these larger rosters, it is increasingly difficult to see from the side. Nice inside-out forehand. Disc moves up just the backhand float up the line, put into the end zone. Perfectly safe catch.
I know there was in fact Nikolai who did that layout catch.
Yes. Those two are easy to mix up.
They're looking a bit similar.
3-1 Freespeed. The Flying Angels of Bern taking a timeout.
Yeah, stop the momentum.
Get themselves sorted correctly. Figure out what it is that they want to do on offense.
Oh. I think Freespeed might not have realized that it's a timeout because they're already ready to pull and go.
In fairness, they also, being the team that is up 3-1, have less to talk about.
Yes. I think they're giving each other little Helders. Helder's talking to his teammates, setting it up for another defensive point.
This is interesting. What Freespeed has been successful with. So, given the offensive adjustments that the Flying Angels have made this year, the thing that will make their offense function the most difficultly is trapping them on either sideline, just forcing them to stay to one side of the field. And so we saw that in the last point where the Flying Angels make it 2/3 of the way up the field on one sideline, and then the turnover comes when they switch fields and try to...
Okay, yeah. I think also these two teams, they've played each other before in pool play.
Yes.
And I think that one went to Fab.
Yes.
Before with quite a significant margin. But I think they also used that one to maybe figure out a little bit how Fab is working it.
Yes. I mean, one of the things about this rivalry in general, as the poll is up, is that it is... every game is entirely different, and it almost seems not to build on each other. Every game is its own animal. Kiwi fires the disc up to Chris Vidler on the forehand side, and then makes an upline cut.
Oh, nice grab there.
Great defensive pressure from Freespeed Basel. As Oswin Metzger looks around for a receiver, Kiwi comes free again on the forehand side, holding the disc and looking at the end zone. Now wants something behind, finds Benji in the middle of the field. Benji draws the mark to the ground, gives it back to Kiwi. Oswin puts up a nice bendy throw into the end zone for Mark Mosiman, and with that,
celebrates.
Fab stops the bleeding. 2-3 for Fab. And by 2-3 for Fab, I mean 2-3, Fab is down by 1. 3-2 for Freespeed is the more sensical way of saying what I just tried to say.
Sometimes it's not that easy to kind of turn your phrases the right way.
Sometimes phrase turning is hard.
I think one interesting thing I'm noticing is that Freespeed has a non-playing coach, which I think is also not common for the Swiss teams, at least
Certainly
so far.
Not.
So
I was having this discussion, in fact, with former teammates yesterday as I was walking to the field. As the coach of the women's team, one of the things that allows me to do that, despite the fact that I'm living in the United States, is that if you have time to dedicate to something like that, then you can also play. And so like people tend to stop playing in Switzerland when family commitments and whatever get in the way, which definitely harms the coaching kind of thing, but creates opportunities for me. Freespeed, working the disc up the forehand side, working an isolation stack.
Working with the experienced players there.
A big shot goes up to the end zone. Two Flying Angels players on it. Turnover for Fab. It was Mark Mosiman and Oswin Metzger, it looked like to me. Yeah. Great spacing from Freespeed. That Huck just hung too much, and Flying Angels did a great job of getting help coming off the back.
Also doing some
Johannes
defense.
takes a deep shot to Dominic Odermatt, playing against Robin Bruderlin in a matchup that's happened many times in their lives.
Yes. There's a foul call.
It looks like a foul call.
Yes.
The funny thing about this matchup, both of these guys are fast, both of them are very athletic, but looking at them together, it is literally like Robin is 2 of Domenii. It is just Domenii, but twice. 2 Domeniis in 1 jersey.
Yes. He's a very light person.
Yes, Domenii does not weigh very much.
Uncontested.
Mm-hmm. That is the right call. Domenii walking it back out to the end line, takes a couple of quick steps, puts the disc in play, puts the disc in the end zone. That is a break for Fab.
3-3.
3-3, although the Flying Angels are still down a break. That's an important thing to remember. The game is tied, but Freespeed has 1 more defensive point than the Flying Angels do. Again, Freespeed demonstrating that camaraderie that makes them famous, makes their mental game so tough to beat by rousing their teammates with their voice.
And all just showing up on the field.
Real strength.
So sometimes it's a whole cloud of red-clad people on the field, and then just 7 remain when everybody cleaves back to the sidelines.
It is difficult in a lot of ways to have a really big roster on a team. It means that people can't play as much as maybe they like. In order to have a big roster and have a successful team at the same time, you really need that camaraderie, that sense that you are contributing to something even when it is mainly in practice or mainly on the sidelines.
Yes.
Fab pulls again, looking for break number 2.
Okay, we get Jan Radeke picking up the disc.
Jan centers to Toby. Freespeed running their pull play. Disc goes up to Robin Bruderlin.
Nicola Busch with the disc. Dennis Hutz. Back to Bias. And a big hut.
Looking deep downfield.
Misread.
Mark Mosiman gets his hand on it again. It looked like Flying Angels have a chance for break number 2. Defensive cutters going deep right away to open up some space. Disc goes to Oswin Metzger. Domenii fills in the middle of the field, tries to move his mark a little bit, throws the disc a little bit outside.
High defensive pressure.
Yes, excellent defensive pressure. Outside of intended for Pascu, it looks like. Jan picks it up, strokes a forehand directly into the end zone for a 1-throw easy goal.
To Marco.
And that, I think, is a great demonstration. The early going of this game, now that Freespeed leads 4-3, is I think what we can probably expect for the rest.
Yes.
Both teams are going to give each other chances. And what makes this matchup so exciting is it really varies and goes back and forth who's going to do the best job of capitalizing on those. Miscue from Domenii Odermatt to Pascal leads to a 1-throw Basel score from Jan to Marco. 4-3 Freespeed, still up a break.
I'm looking maybe to get another one. Get Luca Miglioretto with the pole.
We haven't seen, from everything that I've been hearing from the Bern players, the new offense that they are running has been a rousing success, but we have yet to see it look easy in this game. A high hanging pole is going to end up out of bounds, corralled out of bounds by Lorenz Stauffer. Benji will be taking the disc at the brick, which is what happens when a pole goes out of bounds in general. The brick mark is that large X in the middle of the field, 25 meters in front of the end zone.
Defender's already waiting for him there. Number 20.
Freespeed coming out, forcing backhand. Benji pushes it up the field to Chris Findler on a nice underneath cut. Freespeed is playing an FM force against a horizontal offense, as it's forcing Fob's handlers to continue to move the disc sideways and not letting them get up the field very effectively. Chris feeds it into the end zone for Sebastian Kiwi Glor.
Makes it 4-4.
Tight windows, making it look easy.
And a clean hold for Fab. I think it's the first clean hold they're having.
Yes, indeed. Let's see this replay again. Yosh feeds it to Mark Mosiman, who drags his defender out of the play, which is really the key. That opens up all this space for Kiwi to Chris. Kiwi gets Luca thinking about something else for 1 second, and then the pass goes up for the goal. That's a really fun matchup, by the way, Kiwi versus Luca. (4-4) Flying Angels, Freespeed. Freespeed remains up 1 break as Fob's D-line looks to even things up with a break here. Here comes the pull. Dore tests the wind.
And
big pull goes up, high and hanging. It's going to come down at about the brick mark, but the advantage is that the Flying Angels get to have their defense already set up. Toby has the disc initially. Up the field to Dave. Basel doing a great job of isolating their cutters. A well-timed put to the end zone means that it doesn't matter that the Flying Angels' help is there.
Yeah. Two defenders.
Nothing you could do.
Yes. Well-placed pass.
That's just excellent clean offense. One of these teams, so we've seen that Freespeed is starting to force middle on the Flying Angels, which shouldn't work technically. Like against a horizontal offense, that is giving the offense what they want theoretically, but it did make it did disrupt Fob's flow. Flying Angels are going to have to find a way to disrupt Freespeed's flow similarly in order to get those breaks. Freespeed looks like they are done simply giving the disc back to the Flying Angels.
Got a replay on that. Or not.
Or not. Freespeed looking to extend their lead here. A break here late in the first half would be, or in the second half of the first half, we'll call it the second quarter, is would do wonders for their energy levels and strategic adjustments moving forward. Big pull from Helder, heading towards the back corner of the Flying Angels end zone. The disc is centered to Lorenz Stauffer in his own end zone, pops it out to Sebastian Glor coming out of an ISO stack, who moves it back to Severin Rees in the middle of the field. At this point, the Flying Angels are out of their pull play as Benji gets the disc at midfield and takes a deep shot to Chris Findler, who catches it standing up and running away. Extremely clean offense again.
Yes, very, very great execution there.
And now both teams sort of standing toe-to-toe and just slugging it out. Each team feeling very comfortable holding the disc 3 seconds at a time and then just moving it to someone who has sprung themselves free.
If you want to
Let's
have
see that replay. Sebastian Glur with a nice little inside-out backhand to Severin Rees underneath. It's really the movement to Lawrence Stoffer quickly that lets him hit Benji up the line. All Chris needs is one step, and that perfect placement ties it all up at fives.
And a fun fact there, these two are actually teammates on Fly High Lausanne.
Mm-hmm.
These two. But for the open season, they're playing with Fab to just improve.
That hit was also the case last year, and so they've been well worked in with, or worked into the Flying Angels system. And by well worked in, I mean Flying Angels let them play together a lot, which really helps things out.
Use the chemistry between them.
Yes, Toby possessing the disc in the middle of the field. The Flying Angels are doing something different on defense now, something a little bit spongier in the handlers. Matchup zoning and back and playing loopy around the handlers just to make Freespeed throw more throws than they do. And so for the purposes of this defense, it is having the effect that they want. The disc moves way up the wing to Robin Brudelin and again to Dave Moser. This is when that defense is beaten. Freespeed very content to just take their time, gain yards in chunks, and then possess the disc carefully. Flying Angels staying in the zone that they're in, letting Freespeed throw the disc back and forth.
It's really a game of patience.
Yes.
Got Robin with the disc, back to Dave.
And now Flying Angels call themselves out of that zone, looking to match up in person defense. And
Nicola with the disc.
And Freespeed is not phased by this transition as they are able to continue to move the disc quickly, cleanly. Jan with the disc on the goal line, looking to just put it in.
And Robin with the score.
Robin with the score and the head spike past Eugen Dorn. Let's see this one more time when we get a chance.
At this point, took a bit longer, but still.
And Freespeed is not phased by this. But that's, you just need to mix it up sometimes. So here we go with Toby with the disc, cleanly floats it around to Marco, back to Jan, and then it's just too hard to play defense right there. Eugen takes a shot just a little bit late, finishing with the head spike. It's nice to see that coming back. I sound like I'm being sarcastic sometimes, but I'm genuinely not. I like the head spike.
It's a little bit of flair.
Mm-hmm. And I hit my mic with my hand again because...
Trying to sit on my hands to avoid that, but
that's
it's
so
hard.
Smart. It is difficult. Okay, so we've seen one big defensive adjustment from the Flying Angels that had the effect of at least slowing things down. Freespeed walked right through it patiently, and then when the Flying Angels went to person, just flipped the switch and rolled it up. Let's see what Freespeed has in store for the Flying Angels this time. Lauren Stauffer in the middle of the field moves the disc around to Benji. Benji hits Chris. Chris feeds it up to Lawrence, and now we've got somebody with steps. It's Severin Rees into the end zone. Very clean again. This is this is a version of offense in which when the disc moves quickly and you can't get a mark on, just like we saw in the women's final, it is just impossible to cover the entire field. And with the caliber of skill that is on the field from both these teams, if you find yourself looking back at the disc for 1 second and your person gets a step, it's too much. The score is now 6-6, but again, to remind our viewers, Freespeed is still up a break. Freespeed is still in the middle of the field in the advantage.
Yeah, well, they started around.
Let's see this replay again. This is just very clean offense.
Feeds it up
that
to
crisp
Lawrence,
dish to
Lawrence
is the key to that play. Chris could not have turned around and thrown that throw on his own because he's got a mark on him. But with Stauffer running up the field, that is an open play. Just a little dish to a huck.
And he has a much better vision of the field as
yes,
well.
Exactly. He can see the receiver where Chris would have had to turn all the way around. All right, so the Flying Angels made one adjustment to their defense. It had the effect that they wanted of getting the Freespeed out of their rhythm, but did not lead to a break or even a turnover. Let's see what they do this time.
Dennis with the disc.
Centering to Toby in the middle of the field. Torres slow coming down on the mark, trying to disrupt some motion. Freespeed controlling the disc nice and easily. Looks like Flying Angel's going straight up to shade backhand. Basel's picking their places, finding their spots, moving the discs quickly but not rushing. Sideline to sideline. Looking for those seams. Dave Moser is just the best at the game at finding those seams too. When the disc is
spaces to go to, and then he just shows up in there.
Exactly.
Dishing it just back to the handler. Done his job.
It would be a good thing to count the number of times that, like, when a Freespeed player has the disc in his hands for more than 2 seconds, how many times is Dave the one who bails them out?
As a call? I think it's
a pick call, looks like. Marco looks like he's wide open anyway. This is one of those that it's like tough to say. Did it affect the outcome of that throw?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. As Marco is going back to where they were.
Yeah.
But in theory, this throwing lane ought to still be open. There's still no Flying Angels players in the lane.
I think it's also clever use of maybe the switching strategy that Fab is using. Just make them choose where you follow.
Yes, exactly. Nikki holding the disc, looking around for his options. A little gust of wind pops that disc up, and Flying Angels with a chance to break back. Mo walks the disc in, centers to Torre. Finds Johannes with the disc, who turns and puts it deep, looking for Domeni, covered by Dave. Again, a matchup for the ages, as Dave makes a great play from behind, going up and over the top of Domeni.
Very nice, clean, clean defense.
That is one of the hardest defensive plays to make cleanly, too, to somehow elevate above your player and not hit him in the back.
Yeah.
And again, though Domeni and Dave are, let's say, similar body types, it still does not take much to knock Domeni all the way over. That's how you know it was clean. That's what I'm trying to say.
Turns and puts it deep.
And so
looking for Domeni, covered by Dave.
Basel comes out
to
clean things up
as Dave
and
makes a great play from behind, going
have another
up
shot.
And over the top of Domeni.
Flying Angels are playing a little bit of a spongier strategy, just trying to plug the lanes with their handlers. Freespeed adapts exactly as they should by running their handlers in a give and go motion.
It's a really tight
Torre putting good pressure on Toby. Toby being unfazed. Jan finds Dave again in the middle of the field, working up easily to Toby, who puts a big backhand up for Robin Bruderling. A hold. And the gentle spike from Robin Bruderling, another fan favorite. Another fan favorite. I would like to see... These are all good classic spikes. Love to see a little bit something brand new, something brand new. That's what we as the fans can hope for. And so let us see this replay one more time. Again, just as with the Flying Angels, this is going to be created by a little throw to an underneath pass to a dish to somebody who can sort of see the field, rips a backhand, really lovely put, lets Mo get back into play, but no stopping Robin Bruderlin, who will then, in the part that we couldn't see, fake the hard spike, lay it down softly on the ground. A second timeout has been called by one of these teams, but it is unclear to me which one. The score is 7-6 Freespeed, who again are up by a break. This is the point for half. Freespeed pulling and hoping for a break here. It might have been them calling the timeout, trying to just sort of like to get themselves geared up, get the right line on the field, call what they want in order to punch this break in and receive the pull coming out of half, already up by 2. Or maybe Fab just wanted to talk things over as well. This is another way of, again, not to comment critically, of being like, I don't understand why anybody would have called a timeout in that situation. I can't imagine. But I guess we will see when the point is scored.
Exactly.
Not much time left in the first half. You've got 2 timeouts. Can't take them with you. It's like your worldly wealth.
Better use them.
Better use them. Freespeed picking out their matchups. We've got Laurent Stauffer on the sideline now, and a much more squirrely offensive line out there this time. They're looking for shorter throws. Freespeed coming down in something that is looking a little bit junky. Not zony, just junky. Just trying to stop the disc, and they succeed. Disc moves up to Yosh. So we're looking to stretch the field. Mo is going behind. Basel just took away the first couple throws that this offense wanted, and the Flying Angels are taking a little bit of time to recombobulate themselves.
They're moving backwards.
They're moving backwards. People aren't cutting together. Kiwi takes a big shot with that forehand, leading Mo over the head.
Big position.
Huge bid. Goal for Mo is what it's called. That was also a dime. Flying Angels huck themselves out of trouble. Classic Flying Angels fashion. Very excited to get another look at that play. Let's see that again. People aren't cutting together. Kiwi just strokes that forehand right over the head of Mo, giving the defender no chance. Huge
you
bid.
could really see that the defender was trying to look where the disc was, and just like that, he kind of lost one step.
It's just if you're taught as a young player that what you want to do is throw it into a different third of the field. You never want to throw a pass directly over the head of your receiver because it's hard to read. But if that disc had been out to the side, if it had been out in the lane, the defender would have had a shot. It was only because it dropped in directly over his head and directly into Mo's hands. The pass had to be perfect, and it was.
Yeah. It seemed as if Mo had eyes on the back of his head to know where the disc was.
Yes, a very high-risk, high-reward throw requires a lot of skill. This looks like another timeout being called. Now all the teams have to be out of timeouts. At sevens, this is the point for half.
Exactly.
The stakes here look like this. The Flying Angels will pull to start the first half. So a score here puts them back on serve. So, which is to say they will be pulling coming out of half at 8-7. However, if Basel scores this clean offensive point, then Flying Angels will be pulling down 7-8 to start half, and then you will see the fact that Basel remains up a break reflected in the score. The score is tied. Freespeed is still up a break. Two breaks for Freespeed in the first half, one break for Flying Angels, a whole lot of very clean holds, and an entertaining game of defensive adjustments and counter adjustments. Big pull from Kiwi. Is going to land towards the back of the end zone. Being low and hard, Freespeed has a chance to center it a couple of meters outside of the end zone. Flying Angels coming down in something a little bit junky for just a couple of throws. Not zone, again. Something just a little bit junky. Dave Moser finds the seam.
Just make them throw the small throws.
There's a pick call over on the far side of the field. Nicky Miglioretto and Dennis Hotz running things in back for Freespeed. And again, Flying Angels seem to be playing behind the downfield receivers, trying to push them underneath and make them take exactly that throw. Couple meters of yardage gain, but no big dangerous throw. The hope when you play a defense like this is that you're going to make them do something, either make them throw enough throws that they just drop it, or make them do something dumb and try to force a throw to a covered player.
There's a nice try from Nicolas Bush to try to tow it in, but it didn't work.
Credit to him for focusing on making the catch first, and then worrying about where his toes were. He's like, maybe I'm in? Turns out no. Dave Moser possessing the disc in the red zone, looking to play it safe, content to lose plenty of yards to Nicky Miglioretto and back to Dennis Hotz. Toby possessing the disc on the backhand sideline. He's got a devastating bendy forehand that we just see right there that drops in to Robin Bruderlin, who has yet another chance to do something awesome with his spike game. I couldn't see what it was. We'll have to wait for the replay. And that is half.
This time it made it into the replay.
Also, let us talk about how skilled that throw was. Toby possessing the disc on the
Tobias
backhand
looking what his
sideline.
options are.
He's got a
Doesn't
devastating
really see what
bendy
he likes.
forehand.
boom,
Robert
throws that
right
gun,
there.
drops in. Nice clap catch by Robert Brulin.
Has yet
And
chance.
the
Elbow.
pound spike, that's one of my favorites. That's one of my own personal favorites. Love that. Love to see that coming back.
So we're at half, 8-7 for Freespeed.
But again, Freespeed is up a break now.
So they can serve that one, and they will receive the pull.
Receive to start the second half. There is not enough wind, as the viewer can clearly see, to make things difficult for these talented throwers on both teams. And so it doesn't matter the side that the pull is coming from, particularly in the second half. In games that are this evenly matched with teams that are this skilled, I tend to keep score by thinking about it in terms of breaks. And so it's 2-1 Freespeed right now in my head, as it is 8-7 on the scoreboard. The team that gets the most breaks is the team that wins the game. Interesting chess match happening as both teams trying to do something a little bit poachier around the disc just to try to get the opposing team out of their pull play. Both teams having significant success forcing each team to complete 6 or 7 short passes that aren't easily connected to another pass, and then both offenses seem to be having a relatively easy time once they spring the offense open with one big downfield pass that gains 15 or 20 meters, opening things up again.
Yeah, it looks like it's really a stop and go offense until you have a deeper shot.
But this is this is an excellent defensive game plan for both teams. Identify what the other team does well, what they really want to do, and make them go to plan B. What is their plan A? See if they can beat you in more ways than one. And the team that can't is the team that loses. But both these teams have been very good at just being patient around the disc on offense and taking what the defense is giving them and waiting for their chances.
And you can see the excellent disc skills on both sides.
Yes.
Really not being phased or what's going on.
Again, since we're still in timeout, let us talk about that dynamite throw from Toby across the field to Robin. This is a classic example of a throw that you are sort of taught as a younger player never to throw because it's too dangerous. But being able to put the disc with some edge and some bite and some pace into a small space is a really valuable skill in this game. And as we see the rise of Goaltimate worldwide, the game played with a hoop and it's 4-on-4, much quicker movement and stuff like that, that really values scoring and lowers the penalty for throwing turnovers. You start to see Ultimate players around the globe getting better and better, more skilled at throwing really unconventional, really bladey, really fast-moving passes of the exact kind that we saw right there.
Yeah, it's really to see. Also, in the break between the games, there was a little freestyle show.
Oh, yes.
The Fab Junior seems to work on freestyle, so maybe also to work on some disc skills.
Freestyle does not convert as well to the Ultimate field as Goaltimate. I really, for anyone in Switzerland who does not happen to be watching this game live right now and happens to be watching the live stream instead, I cannot recommend Goaltimate enough as a skill-building game. You only need 8 people, not 14, to play. It's like Mini, but it's faster paced. It's supremely fun, etc. And Flying Angels come out on defense to start this second half. Freespeed coming out in a side stack offense for their pull play. They center it to the middle of the field. Flying Angels are running their 2-3-2 zone.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought they have a zone.
They do have a zone, and we can see it being very clearly played. Yeah. The key for the Flying Angels with this zone is if their downfield players can find people to match up with quickly enough. Yes. As we can see already, they're conceding quite a bit of yardage to Freespeed underneath, and here we go, crossing midfield. This is the part where they've got to call fire. That's all it takes. Dave Moser makes a spectacular catch to save possession, and then is catching every other pass in this offense as the Flying Angels seem to have transitioned to person defense as they should. Dave catching the pass again, controlling things in the back of the field, Freespeed doing a great job keeping their handlers out of the way to let the end zone work.
And that's another point for Robin on the board there.
Another point for Robin on the board. I'm going to give that spike more of like a 6, I'm going to say, instead of that. Nice clean hold from Freespeed. Well played overall. Handled Flying Angel zone with aplomb. Okay, I'm sorry. I give it more of an 8 because there's some extra sauce on that look back.
We see that on the
Let's see this replay one more time. The disc comes over, and then it's just Robin Bruderlin in the corner, looks back, flips it over his head. That's what bumps it from the 6 to the 8. Just a little spice. A little spice. Not too much to contravene the spirit of the game. Just a little mustard.
But with all the point he's scoring, he has the chance to show off his spiking skills as well.
He does have a chance to show off his spiking skills. If he keeps this up, he is really going to have to get creative. Or start repeating himself. Freespeed pulls.
That would not be good.
Yeah, no, can't be doing that.
Okay.
Centering to Benji in the middle of the field.
Chris with the disc.
Back to Chris.
Benji, back to Chris.
Chris to Benji to Chris is a devastating thing, and now we have a travel called. This is something that very typically happens to the Flying Angels offense because their handlers or their throwers and receivers move the disc so quickly.
Yeah.
This is an ambiguity in the rules of Ultimate in general, in which the rule is that you have to have established a pivot foot in order to throw. That's the first part. But you are allowed to release the disc within 3 ground contacts as long as you are not changing your speed
and direction
or your direction. And so when players try to throw in stride without stopping, it is difficult to always never accelerate or to change your speed. Kiwi with the disc, 5 meters outside of the forehand end zone.
Nino.
Swinging the disc across the field nicely, threatening both sides of the end zone, but really, really wanting that open side option. Chris comes out of the end zone, feeds Kiwi a nice little dish to Mo, finishes that point. Both offenses come out strong in this half, meeting the challenge that each defense is throwing at them. I have to say that the Flying Angels, I mean, Mark Moseman is no stranger to catching goals. Their spike game could really improve. If they have to have a focus at practice coming up, I have to think that it's got to be spiking. That's the real, like, they're down 1 break, trailing Freespeed 9-8 now, but it's in spike terms they're down like 5-0.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in off season probably they can take.
Yes, definitely. I mean, that's really you can you can work on that in the gym for sure. Do some like lat pull downs to affect the power down to the ground.
Okay, so Freespeed still up by 1.
Up by 1 point and by 1 break, receiving the disc. 6 points away from ending this game. This is the part at which a team in the Flying Angels position, it's only 1 break.
Yeah.
The game is very close, but you've got to start seeing a little bit more urgency suddenly.
The intensity.
They've tried a couple of different things on defense. Now they're going to have to start thinking about like what works
Best.
and trying to ramp up that intensity.
And we start from the break.
Freespeed comes out in a horizontal stack. Dave Moser, no surprise, as option 1.
Yeah, he's so essential to their offense.
He's one of those players that like his presence on the field makes everybody else feel like things are in control. Like you're never in too much danger, which for a team that likes to play aggressively like Freespeed cannot be overstated.
Yes.
The value of that kind of position. Toby and Dennis Hotz work it back and forth across the field. Nikki has the disc. Underneath, Dennis with a nice throw-go movement.
Yeah.
Just possessing the disc calmly, looking for it. Hey, look, somebody held the disc for 3 seconds, and it's Dave Moser on the receiving end, keeping things moving. Nice, long forehand inside out from Nikki to Robin Bruderlin, opens things up. Robin is going to have to get back in front of the disc if he wants to spike this. And just with a couple of little dishy passes into the end zone they go.
Yeah.
A nice clean hold. Again, Flying Angels doing what they need to do on defense to make things difficult for Freespeed, and Freespeed just looking completely unfazed.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we can hack it, then we just play small passes and bring it home just like that.
Exactly.
Why not?
It really is. Dave Moser is really the key to everybody looking and feeling as comfortable as they do. If the Flying Angels could succeed in stopping him from getting the disc underneath, it would go a long way to being able to put pressure on Freespeed's O-line. On the other hand, the problem with that strategy, it sounds like
somebody else will maybe take over their
role. And Dave is a deep threat as well, so you can't just you don't want to give him the deep ball, because he will make you pay for that too. Flying Angels as well have not looked particularly troubled on offenses, but the Flying Angels do not have the luxury to just sort of play comfortably out this game.
Yeah, they really have to get their break, put in another one.
I mean, just like we were saying last game, this is the point that they just need to walk in and then think about getting the break. Lawrence Stauffer back on the O-line after playing defense for a point and putting Benji there. There's a miscue in the pull play. Lodu definitely wanted to throw that deep to Kiwi. It bounces to Yosh on the outside, bounces to Kiwi. Kiwi pulls it back hard across the field for Seva.
Wow, what a grab.
What a catch from Severin Rees.
Fantastic play from Severin.
I'm sitting here in the sideline in the middle of the field, and when that throw went off, I confess, I was like, that has no chance. I saw the Freespeed player's position, and I said to myself, that is going right to the Freespeed player. I do not know how Seva managed to get his body in front and make that play. Let's have a look. If there was ever a play to watch again. Lodo moves it to Yosh, who moves it to Kiwi underneath, and then Kiwi's throw could go straight to the back corner, but no, it's going to go back to the middle of the field. Seva has to get his body in front and lay out underneath. A wonderful bidding defense play from somebody. But that is the kind of faith in one another that you develop over the course of a long season. Along several seasons, I should say. When you, there are certain players that when you see the back of their jersey, you just throw it out in front of them.
They know they will catch it.
And you know that they will catch it. I mean, you know. That's also how teams lose, but you know.
Yes.
Flying Angels taking care of business on the offensive end, trailing by 1 point, coming down to the last third of this game. Once the game gets to 10-10, or let's say once one team gets to 11, we're really in the end game.
Yeah. So let's see
what
Kiwi is going to do now.
Throws this pull down. Flying Angels will really need to show some tenacity and start taking some risks on defense in order to get turnovers at this point. Playing a spongier type of defense, trying to keep Freespeed throwing a lot of throws, not letting them go deep, which is unsuccessful as Dave drops a dime into the end zone to Marco, who then drops said dime. Really unlucky for Freespeed. That was a really wonderful, wonderfully orchestrated, wonderfully set up offensive play. Flying Angels have their chance to get their break back, which would make this game super exciting. There's a foul called on the throw.
You got Toro Harms with the disc.
Draws some contact. This is worth commenting on. This has been an extremely clean game. Only a couple of picks, only a couple of fouls, very few contests, no long discussions. These teams have what we will call a mixed record when it comes to negotiating calls among themselves. And so
they did a lot of effort of trying to improve their one, so they had some out-of-game meetings.
That is a key aspect of the spirit of the game.
It's really the willingness also to improve their one, which is really, really good.
Disc moving around sideline to sideline. Kiwi with the disc in the middle of the field. Osvin Metzger up to Eugen Dorn. Still controlling the disc, moving it towards midfield, though not quite there yet. Another underneath pass to Mark Mosiman. And Mo strokes it deep, looking for Jan Tenger. It's trailing away, but it is a dime into the back corner. And that is the Flying Angels break back.
Yeah, no, they got it back.
You can hear again the sonorous, unified yelling, the cheer of Freespeed Basel as they are gathering themselves up to to come back and put this game away. It is 10-10 now.
Yeah, so it's really, there we get the replay of this pass.
Mo pulls it back and then sends it deep, looking for Jan Tenger. God, I swear to God, if I had $1 for every replay there is of like Yosh running down with the elbows all akimbo, like looking up at the disc. Well put, well run.
Yes.
So now we come to the end game. It's tens.
Yes.
It's tens, and the Flying Angels are pulling. So what we say is that Freespeed is on serve to win. If there are no more breaks, Freespeed wins this game. So each team is playing, starting really from scratch, 0-0 game to 5.
Yes.
Everything so far has just been the prelude to this. You've learned what you've learned about other teams. You've gotten yourself into this position where you can use your strategy and the conditioning that you've done. And here we go. This is the exciting part of the game. Freespeed comes out in a side stack, works the disc around. Dave Moser in the center at about the brick mark. Dave makes a nice little speculative poach bid. Torre putting good pressure on Marco as Freespeed continues to come right up the line. Bosco makes a bid at Nicky Miglioretto. That's a real risky bid. And risky not in the sense of being dangerous like to Nicky's health, but dangerous in the sense of if he misses, then Nicky's got a free shot at the end zone.
And you almost had that one.
Yes.
It's because of the pick,
Nino.
everything stopped.
Yes. That's one of the, when I coach players, there's this thing where when the disc goes up, if you're on defense, you have to make a decision. Are you going to get the D or are you going to put the mark on? You have to do one, and you can't try to do one and not do the other. Nino chasing Nicky around as Nicky just very patiently works the disc up the field. The Nicky, Toby, Dennis Hotz combination is just ironclad.
Nicolas Bush with the disc.
One step in front of people. Dave takes a little bit of a dangerous bid right there. Disc is back on the other side of the field with Dave Moser. Flying Angels doing a good job of at least making Freespeed feel the pressure. Lots of layouts on this particular point.
Almost on the line there. Swinging it back to the center to Dennis. Wow. Nice continuation pass there.
Excellent work by Freespeed, just moving the disc very patiently up towards the goal line. This pressure, Flying Angels have to bet, is going to pay off, but not yet.
Yes. And then,
not today.
Like a point-saving grab from Nicolas Bush to score that point.
Again, very
really low disc. Really nice patience from Freespeed.
Excellent patience.
Yes.
Excellent grace under fire, as we say.
Yeah, and maybe we can
let's see.
have another look at that, potentially at that replay.
Let's see that replay one more time if we can.
There you go.
Toby possessing the disc right here, just moves the disc up to Dave, and then from this corner, nice little fake to Robin, back to Toby, Dennis Hotz, and then we just find a nice sliding grab.
Rolling grab there, keeping his feet in the end zone.
11-10 Freespeed, getting to start on, or playing D on the Flying Angels. 1-0 game to 5.
And you can really see coaches on the field setting up their line for Freespeed, getting the best of their defense.
What makes this part of the game so much fun to watch is that the pressure that's put on by any break or any defensive pressure is so much heightened. If either of these teams gets broken at this point, you have so little time to get that break back. And you'll start to see teams playing as though that pressure is there. Lauren Stauffer with the disc in the middle of the field. Basel
overhead.
playing a zone over at the Kiwi. Little content to throw hammers back and forth.
Well, there's not so much wind to
No.
really block these kind of things.
Flying Angels just taking their time, throwing the nice easy throws, trying to gain yards with handlers coming up the middle. There's something called a double team, perhaps. It's unclear. A lot of open space in the middle of the field. Fouls.
I think it's also about people getting a little bit tired, so cuts get messier. So usually, often toward the end of a game, picks are picking up.
Benji swings it over. Now Basel is in person again, playing,
Really tight.
forcing backhand. It looks like.
Almost flat. I think they want to stop the deep shots that have been connecting way too much.
Lorenz Stauffer with the disc 10 meters off the end zone. Tries to feed the disc back to a stationary Nino. Freespeed player that he does not see, comes from behind, gets a spectacular layout block. Freespeed on the attack again. Moving the disc up the forehand side of the field. Looking for quick strike. Big hammer goes up over the top.
Collected
Another
again by
dime
Robin.
ball. Oh, that's not what Robin put in. He's just wearing a
No,
headband.
yeah, that's true. It's tucked in. It doesn't.
That's a big break for Freespeed. Puts them
just
up
a-
12-10, puts them within 3 of a win. And they get to do their break song again. Which again, lovely and fun. Really unfortunate for the Flying Angels to have the disc that close to the end zone and have that kind of vision problem nip them from behind. So again, when a team is under pressure like
it
the
was
Flying
Johan, it was not Robin, that's it. But it's the beard and the white headband, so I got confused.
Exactly.
Johan Ferreira
I mean,
with a catch.
I feel like it's either man buns or like the white headband with this team. The Flying Angels are under the following kind of pressure. They have just let a break happen in the very last portion of the game, and now they have to play offense again. And so the temptation is to try to react to what just happened.
Yeah, get excited.
But the key is not to react to that.
Okay.
Just put the disc in the end zone and then let the D-line go on and
do
play
the
with
job.
that kind of intensity and energy that you need. More intensity on offense tends to make things worse rather than better. Big pull, landed in the very back of the end zone.
Torre to Benji.
Torre is picking up. Freespeed sidelines have. Okay. Freespeed, tons of energy right now coming out in zone. Their sidelines are loud. The crowd is loud. Flying Angels trying to work out of the end zone, but the disc is still in the end zone. Benji up to Kiwi on the forehand side.
Forward.
And there's pass to Mo,
Chris.
pass to Chris, stringing some things together. And now the defense gets a little chance to catch up. Jan goes up the line, looking again for Chris. Ooh, a little bit of body on that cut. Mo with the disc, looking for the forehand inside out. It goes around to Kiwi.
And
Kiwi very
collected by
safely puts
Seve.
it into Severin Ries. 12-11.
Yeah. Freespeed still.
Freespeed now, but Freespeed up 2 breaks. Up 2 breaks. Very important to clarify. And it looks like Flying Angels have called a timeout, talking about what they need to do.
I know that's, as you said, now their defense needs to get a D.
Now it's
And a
like
point.
when a team is in this position, down 2 breaks, looking at the end of the game and looking at the fact that the other team only needs 3 points to put this game away, you've got there's a lot of energy, a lot of tension. You're thinking very hard about what you can do to help your teammates. And now on defense, you have the opportunity to do that. You've got whatever energy you have left in your legs. Now is the time to spend it. And because you're on defense, the stakes are a little bit lower, especially at this stage of the game. There's no more like sort of playing it safe and just trying to shut your person down. If you have an opportunity to get a block, you take it. Flying Angels were already ramping up their defensive intensity the last time we saw them on the field. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen, obviously, within the next 3 points. And so for Freespeed, contrary-wise, the task right now is to play it like it's 0-0, the very start of the game. Their offense doesn't need to do anything spectacular, especially
they just need
because,
to score the points.
Exactly. Especially because you got to anticipate that the Flying Angels are going to start flying around the field and taking chances. You're going to have open lanes where there weren't open lanes before. And if you stay calm in your head, it ought to be relatively simple to walk down and score. That is the psychological battle that is happening.
But
right now.
as you've seen in the game before, it's like this last points of the game are the ones where nerves are in the air.
Yeah.
People get excited.
And this is also a situation in which neither of these teams has the advantage. Again, this is always the final of Swiss Nationals. This is neither
new.
team is exactly.
They've all been there. Went either way.
Multiple times.
Okay. Fab's getting pulled.
Yep. Kiwi looking to send the disc down. A very athletic defensive lineup right now for the Flying Angels as Freespeed setting up their most solid players, coming out in a horizontal stack and looking to put it right away as Toby rips one for Robin.
Down. Can he get
Boy,
there?
that's beautiful.
Wow. What a run down.
I'm still looking for the spike. Looking at the spike. That was
He's
just
catching his breath.
Shot.
He's just
okay. That was, in fairness to him, that was a long, hard sprint.
Yes.
So, we save your energy from that spike. But that's exactly it. When you are the Flying Angels in that situation, that's the throw that you want Freespeed to throw, because they miss those sometimes. But when things are connecting for Freespeed, man, I'm telling you, it is not a fun team to play against. Can we see a replay of that beautiful put? Just a first throw, centering in the middle of the road. Toby's
cool,
away goes Robin, and just boom. That disc had some pace on it and just hung up in the air perfectly. So much spin and rotation on that throw, just to put it there.
And he just had the goal net to catch him.
And watching Jan celebrate was really, you could just feel every part of that joy. It's just amazing. Just amazing. And so now, down 13-11, Flying Angels find themselves again in this situation in which the most difficult task they have is to calm down and just score this point and then spend all their energy on defense. Pull goes up.
Okay. Papanino.
Up to Benji. Running a little pull play out of the side. Freespeed doing the smart thing and taking their time to get to the mark, which plugs up lanes and slows everything down. Kiwi gets the disc, just puts it very nice and easily up to Seva, who puts it in the end zone. Easy offense for the Flying Angels, and now the work begins for them.
Again. So they were offense line, did our job, back to you guys on the D-line.
Exactly. And Freespeed still feeling fine and confident and all that kind of stuff. Points that when the Flying Angels get hold, that does not affect Freespeed's mental game. Let's see this replay again. So you see Benji waving people in because Basel is doing such a good job at plugging lanes. Just Yosh to Kiwi, and then Kiwi just turning and throwing in flow like that. Nice edge control on the disc, just drops it right into Seva's lap. Beautiful point overall. And now the Flying Angels' defense job is to make this look ugly for Freespeed. Just to, Flying Angels want two things, or one of two things. They either want to encourage Freespeed to take those really risky shots in the hopes that it doesn't work, although the weather conditions, everything are pretty ideal.
Make them throw a lot of passes.
Exactly. Gum things up, make Freespeed uncomfortable with where they are on the field. This goes to Toby in the center again. Kiwi is on the mark this time.
You get Davis getting active. Just because being in the hand of somebody for a long time.
I'm going to guess that the Flying Angels are trying to apply pressure to the throwers at this point, trying to make it ugly and stuff. They've got some of their
almost at the
players.
back of the end zone there.
Yes.
It's really Callahan territory.
And
so, Dave.
A layout for Kiwi on that. Dave has the disc. Dave puts up a big shot. If this is inbounds, it's a good throw, but it is drifting to that cone. And hard to read. Yosh knocks it down. and the Flying Angels have a chance to get one of the 2 breaks that they need back. Now we get to also see something fun from Freespeed, which is you have this O-line that has been playing well and solidly, that consists of some of their most experienced players, and that has been conserving energy the last couple of points because the points have been easy. What kind of pressure can they put on the Flying Angels' second-tier offensive players? Disc moves up cleanly to Johannes in the middle of the field. Johannes looking around for a reset, feeds it up the line to Kiwi. The wind is picking up just enough to make this a little bit difficult as it goes back to Ossie in the middle of the field.
Who is completely on his own as well.
Yep, still on his own as it goes back to Johannes to Torre. Now Robin Pruden has picked up Seva. Goes to Kiwi on the right-hand side of the field, and the pass goes into the back of the end zone. It's a little bit too long for Osvin Betsker. That was the right look. Very narrow window for execution errors. And now Freespeed gets a chance to break back, to maintain their hold.
But they have to go across the whole field again.
70 meters again. Toby picks it up on the front corner. Moves it to Dennis. Dinking it around in the front half of the end zone. To Dave on the forehand side. Back to Dennis Hotz. Johannes putting good pressure on. Kiwi putting pressure on Toby. Basel being very successful moving the disc sideline to sideline, moving the disc quickly. Here comes a shot. Toby wants this throw. Makes the wiser decision to throw to Dave.
You could really see his eyes calling for that one.
Dave up to Marco on the forehand sideline, being marked by Tora. They're bringing it up to Dennis Hotz.
Overhead shot is 2.
And they get their hold.
And another one by Robin.
Yep.
Oh, that one is a repeat.
A repeat. That's what happens when you score too many goals in a game. Freespeed needs to get better at distributing goal selection. Why does Robin always have to be in the right place at the right time?
And even when Dennis threw their pass, had so many players in front of me. I didn't even see that he was there. I was like, oh my God, this is going to no one.
So
let's have a look at the replay.
Let's have a look at the replay. This is great. It's just going to go right up the line to Dennis, sort of uncovered, and then watch Robin just flash his hands. Up, I'm open. Pow, comes right across the field, nice and easy. Flying Angels have a chance, or had a chance to break in a situation that would have made things significantly closer. And now what we have is game point Freespeed. 14-12 Freespeed. Freespeed leads by 2 breaks and are 1 point away from victory. Flying Angels, same situation that they have faced, where their offense just needs to go and put it in.
I'm just looking at our live feed. Look, we have 84 viewers.
Hooray.
Yo, people are listening to us. So we need to be careful what we're saying now.
I'm just going to keep saying like it's my business. Big pull goes up to Benji in the back corner of the end zone. That is an incredible pull. Lorenz gets the disc, but he's 10 meters deep in his own end zone on the backhand side. Wants to create something with his throws. Moves it over to Yosh, moves it back to Lorenz. Finds Kiwi on the goal line, basically. 6 passes in, and Kiwi strokes
and again, we get Seva running
for Seva. That disc is hanging up. There's going to be a play on it. Seva brings it down with confidence. Kiwi uncorks the backhand.
This connection is working every time.
I mean, if I'm Basel, I'm very happy with that sequence of things. A pull that pins the offense way down in the back of the end zone. Let's see this replay one more time. Goes to Loder. Loder is going to find Kiwi right here, and Kiwi, nice little 3-meter undercut, and then boom, away it goes. Now, if I'm Basel, I feel great about this because you got a chance at the end. Like, that defender had a chance to make a play, and if the Flying Angels are going to throw stuff up that you have a chance at, take your 50-50 balls. It's 14-13. There is now, like, have you seen the Avengers Endgame or any of those? No?
I mean, I've seen some of the Avenger games, but not Endgame.
are you aware of in the last one when Thanos snaps his finger and everything goes away, blah, 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 and Doctor Strange ends up saying, there's only 14, like out of 14 million simulations I ran, there's only one in which we win, and this is it. I'm just bringing that up because the Flying Angels have a very narrow road to victory right now, and if the Flying Angels are going to win this, it has to go break, break, break.
Oh, okay.
It's 3 breaks in a row, anything else, and Freespeed takes home the 2019 Swiss Ultimate Championship. And so here we go. Big pull down to Jan. Jan centering to Toby. The fans here at the stadium are getting loud. Freespeed just playing very patiently, very calmly, as the Flying Angel strategy seems to be to plug the lanes a little bit, make them throw a few throws. Robin Bruderling gets the disc in the middle of the field, looking around. Nice, easy dish pass.
Collected by Marco.
Metzger takes a shot, but doesn't get it. Domaney and Dave, the body doubles, go to battle on the forehand sideline. As the disc comes back across the field, Jan throws it into the middle of the field. Freespeed possessing the disc at the brick mark. A new stall count, 20 meters from a championship, and that'll do it. 15-12. Freespeed Basel has taken home the 2019 Swiss Ultimate Championship in the men's
Nicolas Busch
division.
gets prouded by his teammates for catching the winning goal there.
People are very excited, very excited. Really excellently played by both teams.
Yes.
Really fun game to watch. Both teams managed to put the pressure on the other team that they wanted to put. Each team had chances to extend their lead, close leads. This is all that you want in a final.
Yeah, it was really, really nice and hard-fought final, and also very spirited. Like it was really very clean. If you can look at the stakes and
the history. Let's not forget the history.
Yes.
Let's give these teams credit for the work that they have done in terms of cleaning up their play and the way in which they talk with each other. Very few calls that were made were resolved very quickly and fairly.
and very entertaining to watch.
Extremely entertaining to watch. Enough big plays, enough fun strategy for Ultimate Nerds to stay involved in. Congratulations to Freespeed Basel and to silver medalists Flying Angels.
Okay, and again, teams congratulating each other. They will meet in the huddle, talk about spirit. And yeah, we thank you all for listening to us, watching the game. Hope you had as much fun as we had. So thank you.
That is impossible. This has been such a blast. Wonderful to work with you, Ulrika. Goodbye
Same
to the
here.
fans out there.
Everyone, it was Ulrike Lehmann and
My name is Derek Gottlieb. Thank you for watching.